probably has played with all of your favorite musicians, most likely. Very notably, he was a member of the Ray Charles Band for 6 years. So he's been all over the world with them. He's Cincinnati native originally, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. The King of Cincinnati, lives here now. Been the jazz trombone professor at CCM for a very long time, and he's in his last semester. He's retiring at the beginning of the next school year, and he was kind enough to lend us his time today and come here and impart his knowledge and wisdom to us. So thank you so much.
A lot of people, especially younger ones, but not restricted to younger players, once they start getting a certain amount of technique, especially the button pushing instruments, the saxophone or the trumpet or other instruments, once you start getting a certain amount of facility, then that feels good to be able to play, more virtuosity. Everybody wants to say, look what I can do. And there's nothing wrong with that, except I just prefer for a player to play a little bit more melodically, catch my attention with some melodic phrase that just happens to come to you. And those phrases come to you basically by, at least they always came to me, basically just by the fact that I listen to a lot of music. All types of music, mainly jazz, of course, I'm a jazz musician. So when I was first coming up, really liking music a lot, something about it just, I knew this was going to be something important to me. I was a guitar player in the 10th and 11th grade especially. And my idol was Wes Montgomery. Anybody heard of Wes Montgomery? Okay. So he basically had two careers in my mind. One when he was just like playing in the rhythm section and just, just making a name for himself. It's just the most melodic, the most unique, the most gifted, just a genius. And then later on, record companies saw that they could probably make a lot of money by way of offering him money to play a lot more commercially. And his commercial playing was what I first got into, because somebody gave me a record and it was Wes Montgomery, and it was him doing all these pop tunes. And later on I found out that, people weren't crazy about that in terms of, his name as a jazz improviser, as a jazz great. He was relegated to just playing pop music. But that was what I started in on. And lucky for me, that even when he was playing just the most cornball of pop music, no telling what they'd ask him to play. It would always be melodic. Because that happens a lot, we're in a little session or something, and we played the head a couple of times, we just tacked it, and I've heard many times where we get to the last tag, it slows down a little bit, and hear that somebody's holding on to a note. Oh, that's the ninth. I take the seventh. Quick, before somebody else takes it, I take the seventh. And then the third, and the ninth. And the next thing you know, we lucked down a really nice voicing that we're going to hold on to just for a moment or two. As opposed to everybody's going like the same note. Maybe one person goes, no, I'll take the fifth. And so that's kind of like a nice little skill to have. We're not going to discuss what notes we're going to land on. Just hear what somebody else is playing and find another note. If all of the notes of the chord are taken, then get off the stage and put your arm back in. So we're going to do the head the last time. Finally ended up on an E flat. Was anybody else playing an E flat concert? It would probably be a little better sounding if you take that up on. Just crunch it up a little bit. Yeah, very cool. So I have been doing this a little while, since I was in junior high school. My father had a bunch of records. He was a jazz disc jockey, as a matter of fact. And our house was, our dining room was just a giant bookcase full of records. All of the, many of the jazz artists would send him records to get played on the radio. Because most of them were marked promotional, big stamp on it that said promotional copy, not for sale or something like that. And so as a result of that, music was just a part of, jazz music was a part of just living at home. He was always listening to something. And he would always get excited when he'd hear something that really touched something inside. We'd be eating breakfast. Be eating oatmeal or something, and then all of a sudden he would let out some kind of sound and run over to the turntable to hear it again. And I inherited that without asking for it. Where I would hear something and just must hear it again. I gotta hear it again. Whatever that was, I must hear it again. And then again and again, and I would have to just stop myself, or else I'd be doing that all day long. And so one of the things that I think I got from that was one day, when I was in junior high school, I wasn't living with my father anymore, and I was buying my first records, and I would listen to a particular track, like maybe side one, track one of a particular record, and I just had to hear it again. I was like real compulsive or something. I had some kind of disorder where I just had to hear it again. And I realized that I might have had that record for 4 or 5 weeks, and I never turned it over to side two. And track one was just like getting worn out. So, and I say that today because, the age that we live in now, the information age, we have access to so many things just at the, just at the click of a mouse or just press a button, And I think that's a great thing. And we might be talking about somebody and you say, oh yeah, I think Kenny Dorham did that back in 1950. No, that was 1960. Yep, there it is. And then that's kind of how we listen. We listen to something. We can't spend too much time on it because there's like 3 more million songs out there to listen to. So we're on to the next one, and on to the next one. And one of the things that I think helps me when I'm in the process of improvising is a melody will pop into my head, and I'm quite certain that it's something that I listened to a million times when I was in the 9th grade. And I remember it. I just somewhere right there, I'm playing something, and all of a sudden, and right then and there, I'm thinking, man, that's Lou Downs. As I'm continuing to play. And the reason it's there is because I listen to it so much. As younger, up and coming jazz musicians, whether you want to do this for a living or not, is if you're here, you like it. So you're spending your part of your afternoon here. So it's something that you enjoy doing. You may even have aspirations to go beyond. It's just something that you may be thinking, I want to do this. But whether you are at the real height of being serious about it, or it's just a good time, the biggest thing. Of course, we've got to learn all of our scales and all of our positions and all of our fingerings and all of our, there's a lot of theory that's involved. But the biggest thing is listening and not trying to listen to everything all at once. You find something that really, you're really reverberating to, just listen to it and just own it and just love it. That's the reason why I had to hear it again, because there was something about it that just was like, that was just the sweetest, the hippest, the most audacious thing I have ever heard. And if I don't hear it within the next 5 seconds, I don't know what's going to happen. So I got to hear it again. And when you get it like that, you're hooked.